Hey, my friend, you probably already know this, but strong, healthy teams don't just happen by accident. They're built when we as leaders actually invest in our people, understand our own strengths and blind spots, and are intentional about creating a healthy team culture. Hi, I'm Robin Kent, and welcome to Teamwork Made Easier. In this podcast, we'll explore how people are wired and how to leverage our strengths, navigate those frustrations, and build that trust so teams can collaborate more effectively. Because one thing I know is this: when people are understood and supported, they don't just perform better, they start to love what they do and who they work with. So grab your coffee, lean in, and let's make teamwork easier starting today. Hey, my friend, welcome back to Teamwork Made Easier. I am here to help you as a leader or a future leader figure out how to make this concept of building a team that thrives, that you enjoy and they enjoy, and you love who you work with. I know the impact it makes. So what I want to dig in today is understanding this concept that I was learning and thinking about in the last week or so, and it is the difference between knowing someone and noticing someone. Think with me for a second. Knowing someone and noticing someone. You can even know your best friend, but do you notice when they're having a bad day? So you can know your team members or the people on your team, but are you noticing when they have a bad day, when they're struggling? Do you notice the different pieces, maybe different gifts that they are bringing, or the different struggles and frustrations that they are bringing to work? Are you noticing what's going on? Because I want to break this down. I really want to encourage you to start noticing what the people are doing that are around you. Because you can know say you have 5 or 8 team members, and you can know them. You can know their name. You can know their family. You can know how long they've been there. You can know their roles. But are you noticing what is going on with them day to day or week to week basis? Are you paying attention? Because this is what I have found is when you are noticing what is going on with someone, I'm not saying you have to sit down and have a coffee conversation with them and get to know everything about them. But if you take time to intentionally notice that they are struggling, or notice that, oh my gosh, that was so fun. They really enjoyed that piece of their work. Or did you notice what they did accomplish at work? So knowing what their role is and who they are is one thing, but noticing, this takes time, this takes intention, and any of us humans, no matter what our gifts are, no matter if we're an introvert or an extrovert or whatever those kind of different characteristics, when we get noticed for what we need or what we're doing and accomplishing, then I would only imagine that you also get this little oh, they saw me do that. I mean, think about it. Even at home, let's say at home, you did a household chore that you typically don't always do, but nobody asked you to do it. Whether it was put the dishes up, cut the grass, wash the clothes, I don't know, whatever it is. And somebody came behind you, your spouse, your significant other, the kids, and they were like, oh my gosh, that was so cool. Thank you for taking care of that. I appreciate that so much that you did it. Whether it's cut the grass and they came and they were like, oh my gosh, thank you for taking care of that. I've been meaning to get to that. They noticed what you did. And you're like, oh, okay, I'm appreciated. So think about that at work. Think about that at work, whether it is someone that is on the leadership team with you, someone that you are in charge of, and you notice that they are doing something, speak it, say it to them, share with them that you appreciate that. I remember when many, many years ago, a couple decades ago, when I was a brand new school counselor, and we were getting ready for a faculty meeting, and the superintendent of the school system had come to our school to introduce some new concepts, some new standards, and to talk to us about some things that were happening. And so we got about 15 minutes to speak, just he and I, before the actual faculty meeting and everything. And I just remember him stopping and taking the time to get to know who I was, because I was still pretty new there. Now, this is a school district that has 30 to 35 schools. And so when you're thinking of 75 to 100 faculty members at each of those schools, and he is like the superintendent of all of this, I was just like, oh my gosh, he's stopping and taking time to talk to me. But also he was interested in me, like, how is the school year going? What are you doing? Are you enjoying your time here? Are things going well? And not only did he ask the questions, but he paused long enough to listen for the answers. So that was one level of noticing me and really being invested in asking questions. But the cooler part was then the next semester, he came back to visit to share some test results and stuff. Well, he saw me in the hall and he was like, "Hey, Miss Kent, how are you doing? How is that going with what you were working on?" And he specifically called it out. He noticed me again. He remembered what we talked about 5 months before. And he noticed that I was there, and it made me feel like I mattered. It made me feel like, oh my gosh, okay, I'm appreciated for what I do. So that is just a fantastic example. I even think about my son. He used to work as a server at a restaurant, and he is great with customer service. He's doing fantastic, getting along with the customers and the staff and all of those kind of things. But there was a particular day that he had some extra time on his hand. And so he went and polished the silverware and loaded up some different things that were not where he had to be at the moment, but he is very detailed oriented, and he is one for sure to, when he sees something and he has extra time, he does not like to sit still. He is very similar to me in that way. And so he was taking care of that. Well, the supervisor came over to him and said, "Hey, I see that you were so detailed oriented and taking care of those utensils and we're getting ahead of schedule and getting things done." And he made a point to let me know that he was noticed by his supervisor for going above and beyond what he was expected to do. And so I just remember his little light bulb going off and being noticed about what he was doing. So I just want to encourage you to stop and think about, how can you take time to notice people that you work with so that they feel appreciated, they feel seen, they feel heard, they feel valued. So we always have different processes, right? For different things in work, whether it's a process of how do we check our emails? We have a process of how to onboard people. We have a process of doing all kinds of things. So here is a process that you could put into practice so that you can be even more intentional about noticing people at work. And so it is called observe, note, and share. Observe, note, and share. And let me break this down for you. So being very intentional to observe what other people are doing, noticing. You're noticing what other people are doing instead of just flying by through the day and just rushing around and doing all those things, but truly stopping and observing. Then make time to sit down and note it down. And so what one manager has done is that he'll go to his calendar on a Friday, write down all of his team members' names, or maybe if you're in charge of leadership, everybody that's on the leadership team, write down everybody's name on your Friday calendar if you have space on there. And think back to the week and think about what you noticed. Even if it's, you noticed that they brought coffee in for everybody on the team. You noticed that maybe they were struggling with something at home, and they were talking about it, or they were celebrating something at home. You noticed that John's daughter graduated from college. And so note that down. So first you observe. Second, you note it, create some kind of system or process where you can note it down. And then thirdly, you share it. You make a point the next week, whatever it is, and just say, hey, I wrote down because I noticed that your kid was graduating, and I just wanted to check in. How did that go? Or you can say, hey, I noticed last week that you brought coffee in for everybody. Thank you for taking time to do that. That was so kind of you to do that. So you want to let them know that you noticed it because you wrote it down and noted it. So that is just one simple little trick that you can put in so that you can make sure that the people around you feel noticed. Because this is the thing that I've seen with anything, no matter what our age is. But when we start doing something like this, other people are going to copy it. And they're going to start to mimic it in many different cases. So they're going to start noticing each other. And this is going to develop stronger team cultures. This is going to develop stronger work ethic, all the kinds of things that I'm sure you're striving and wanting to achieve. So go out there, make a point, be intentional that you not just know your people, but you actually notice them. All right, my friend, you have a wonderful week, and go out there, make teamwork easier, because trust me, it can be easier the more you understand yourself, but then also take time to understand and notice your people. All right, have a great week. I'll talk to you again soon. Hey, my friend. Thanks so much for spending this time with me on Teamwork Made Easier. My hope is that today's conversation helped you see yourself, your team, or your leadership just a little more clearly. If you want to take this a step further, I'd love for you to grab my How You Are Wired to Work productivity tool. It's a simple, practical way to understand how you naturally work best, what gives you energy, and what might be quietly draining you, so you can work with more clarity, less frustration, and a whole lot more ease. Go to robinkent.com/tool. That's robinkent.com/tool. You can find the link down in the show notes, because when you understand how you're wired and how the people around you are wired, it changes the way you lead, the way you collaborate, and the way your team shows up. All right. Thanks again for being here. If this episode was helpful, share it with a friend or another leader who could use it. And be sure to join me next time as we keep building teams where people love what they do and who they work with.